First, do you support the flights to Rwanda? Rishi Sunak's controversial plan to fly asylum seekers there is set to become law. It's all about stopping small boats crossing the channel. This morning, there's been news that at least 5 migrants have died attempting to cross the channel. The new law is intended to stop them making the trip. At a press conference yesterday, Sunak said the first flights deporting asylum seekers to Rwanda will take off in 10 to 12 weeks. Let's have a look at the Prime Minister.
I can confirm that we've put an airfield on standby, booked commercial charter planes for specific slots, and we have 500 highly trained individuals ready to escort illegal migrants all the way to Rwanda, with 300 more trained in the coming weeks. The first flight will leave in 10 to 12 weeks. Now, of course, that is later than we wanted, but we have always been clear that processing will take time. And if Labour peers had not spent weeks holding up the bill in the House of Lords to try to block these flights altogether, we would have begun this process weeks ago. Parliament would sit there tonight and vote no matter how late it goes. No ifs, no buts. These flights are going to Rwanda.
So it's one of those parliamentary ping-pong things that they've been through. Let's just have a look at Houses of Parliament table tennis, because that essentially is what we've been seeing here. And there we go. Commons versus Lords. And it was quite a rally. Lords on this side in red. Wow. Commons on that side in green. Oh, astonishing. The winner of the House of Commons. The House of Commons is always going to win that rally, because in the end, the Lords have to back down if the House of Commons keep putting the ball back in their court. So the winner himself here is Rishi Sunak. He'll be very glad about what's happened, and finally he's got his legislation through. Let's just have a look at what it means here. So 200 caseworkers will be hired. 25 courtrooms and 150 judges will hear asylum cases, offering 5,000 days in court. It's a hell of a lot of manpower. They'll have a pre-booked airfield with slots for commercial charter flights to Rwanda, all booked. 500 escorts, people going on the flights, 300 more in training. And they think the cost will reach £370 million over the next 5 years. There it is. A lot of numbers, very expensive. But he's got his bill through. Although it's so today, just so sobering, Jemma, the fact that even today we've seen deaths in the Channel.
Yeah, which proves that the vast majority of these people who are getting in the small boats are desperate, because it is incredibly dangerous to come over in that way. And the point is, if you process these people, 70% of them have a claim that is valid. The most disgusting thing about this vile policy that I am deeply ashamed of, and which I think makes Sunak, it just absolutely epitomises the stubbornness of this essentially unelected Prime Minister by the country, to not accept that this is a terrible idea. OK, so the two things that the Lords...
Hang on a minute. He will say, as tragic as it is, the deaths today are the reason he's fought for this policy.
But it isn't the reason he's fought for this policy, because if he wanted to stop the boats coming, he would have basically put routes in for that to happen. He would have processed people much quicker. He would have spent all of this money on getting 40,000 people out of hotels and either deporting them. In 2012, the Home Office deported 15,000 people. That went right down because of everything we always hear about, all of the cuts and everything. This is their fault, this backlog, this jam. But it's a complete and utter gimmick to win some votes. And I can't wait for the election, so the electorate can show what we really think.
Where do you deport people to? Are we talking about asylum seekers or migrants? For me, there's a clear difference between the
Correct.
two. Asylum seekers are in desperate need or in trouble. Mm-hmm. There are lots of migrants that aren't in those situations that are thinking they can come to this country and it's an easy ride.
I don't think they get on those boats.
We are bloated here already. Our economy is struggling. Our health service is struggling. We don't have enough schools, education, all those sorts of things are already completely bloated. So if you're going to start deporting people, where would you deport them to?
See, this argument
back to their country that they fled from? where they'll be probably persecuted for doing that?
No, you don't know. You
So
take
what-
those people in. So you're talking
I
about...
get your argument, but what's the alternative?
The alternatives, you're talking about, say, let's talk about 40,000 people, and they're going to spend, and you said 370 million. I've read 500 million. It could be up to 600 million, according to Reuters. Spend that on these hospitals that you've promised us. Spend that
God, so
on
you
schools
wouldn't
that we
process them with the money?
desperately need.
But wouldn't you process, because the processing is the money there.
Yeah.
It's partly flights to Rwanda, but it's also, which you want them processed, right?
Today, he's going to give them 50 million because it's gone through. They've spent millions and millions and millions. And by the way, they're not even letting us see the true cost on housing.
But what would it cost to keep them here?
On housing
You would just
that
keep them
they've
here.
now sold back to Rwandans. There's only 33 houses, apparently.
Yeah, but...
These numbers...
Would you just let everybody come in?
No,
matter
absolutely
what?
not.
So what I'm saying is that's fine, but what is the alternative? What do these people that you're not going to allow in? Where are you going to send them?
So if they have
Are you just going to go? You go. Sorry, on the beach. Turn around. Off you go.
No, basically,
that's what I'm doing is
as they
asking for
did with
alternative.
Albania, so they have a process now with Albania, and it's gone right down in terms of the Albanians that are trying to come here, and that's just through diplomacy, and that has actually stopped those people getting in boats.
But there was never any reason for anyone from Albania to come here as an asylum
Exactly, which
seeker,
is
not
why
one
they've really,
person.
really reduced that. And I agree with that. I'm not saying that we can take every single person into this country and that we can cope with that. But I am saying that if you have got somebody, for instance, who is an Afghan veteran who helped the British military and risked their lives for us, do you think that we owe them?
But that's an asylum seeker.
Yeah.
And if you send them back to their country, they will be persecuted, and that's a problem. What about all those that aren't those people? What are you going to do with those people?
Okay,
that you send away.
All right, we're getting back into the ping pong here. I want to see these pictures from the BBC for this morning. What have we got here? There's some pictures from people
left France.
So let's just look at this. Some shocking pictures from Calais this morning. A small boat was launched from the beach, then turned back around, and more people got on it. This was all happening after a BBC correspondent was interviewed and happened to catch it on camera. So just to say as illustration, despite the fact the bill has gone through, within 6 hours, you had this scene in Calais. And that looks very unsafe, by the way.
This is supposed to be a
We've got
deterrent.
to take a call, but carry on.
This is supposed to be a deterrent. The fact is, most people do not think that it is going to work, and therefore we have spent so much taxpayer money.
It's day one.
On a scheme that doesn't work.
All right, let's see. Jude in Buckinghamshire, hi.
Hello.
Are you glad this went through?
No, I'm not. I definitely think it should not have gone through. What they should do is take the people from the beach when they land, take them in a coach, look after them, hot food, clean clothes, and take the coach onto the ferry and take them straight back to France. Now, I've heard recently...
Hang on a minute, because we get a lot of this, push them back and all that. But France don't let everyone land just because they're in a ferry, June. So the French won't let the ferry land, okay?
But under these circumstances, the French have agreed, and they are saying that they're trying to stop the people coming. Hence the news this morning that the police have punctured the boats for them so they can't come. So really France is admitting that they are trying to stop them coming. Now, we should work with France. What we should do is that boat that was on the south coast, put it in Calais.
Maybe Stockholm, yeah.
Yes, put it in Calais, man it with half French and English workers, and that is where they'll be processed.
All right, Danny, what do you think of that?
I understand the sentiment to that a little bit. I also have to think, all these migrants, they're not French. They're not coming from France. They're coming from other countries, through other countries.
Via France.
And then they're thinking, well, actually, we'll come to the UK because it's easy. Why are they not stopping in France?
Because they might have relatives here,
it's
because they
safer.
might speak the language.
But not all of them. That's a very
people always
very
say
small
that. So a small
proportion.
percentage are trying to get here. But France do take thousands and thousands of people. We take less. We take less than Germany. We take less than France.
But we're a much smaller country.
But we have
And we're a
to
small
take.
island.
We have a responsibility to take a share, and we have a responsibility to process people and find out what their claim is. And if it is invalid, we then have the right to say you can't come here.
We'll
That
take
isn't
a
under
break
dispute.
But where do you send them? That's the problem.
Not to Rwanda, because it was declared unsafe by the Supreme Court. I don't know, Danny.
And this is the problem. It's easy to say you can't do this, you can't do that.
You go back
until you find an alternative.
So if they're in peril, you keep them.
But if they're not, what do you do with them?
You send them back to where they live.
That's it, isn't it? I mean, that's the theory of it anyway. But whether or not that works, I don't know, because they can go missing during the process. As we discovered in the last year, they lost a lot of people who were being processed. June, thank you. After the break, let's take some more calls on whether you are glad that this Rwanda bill has gone through. Sad day as well, because there's been more deaths in the Channel. Kate in Bedfordshire, hi.
Hello. I'd just like to say I don't agree with the Rwanda bill at all. I think it's very unsafe to send people there, especially if you're gay, because it's a death sentence. I think it's a lot of money as well to be spending.
Well, they've apparently got assurances from Rwanda that no one will be punished for that.
Well, we can't guarantee that, can we?
No. So what do you think should happen? I'll ask you Danny's question, Kate. What if they can't send them to Rwanda? What do they do?
I certainly don't think they should be sending them there, but I don't know what they should be doing. I don't necessarily agree that people should be coming over illegally, but I know that if we're in that situation, I know that we'll be doing that.
Yeah, but Gemma's idea in summary was you take all the money you'll spend on Rwanda and put it into some new hospitals.
Well, that's one very good idea. The other thing that it could do is help people that are struggling at the minute, because a lot of families are struggling to feed their children, things like that. So they could.
Do you know, Kate, it would be cheaper. Yeah. It's going to cost about 1.8 million per person that they send. It would be cheaper to put them up in the Ritz in Paris or put them on a cruise liner. So it's performative toughness by Sunak.
Well, put them up in the Ritz. Well, they've tried the hotel thing, and that's caused so much agitation.
The numbers and the costs are very sensationalist, and it's one view. How much does it cost the UK to keep those people here over the course of time? That's also very expensive.
But that's because they've jammed it, because we don't have a proper system at the moment to process. And yet, Sunak suddenly loads of judges out his bottom.
You've just said spend it on healthcare. Our healthcare is swollen at the moment, allowing a lot more people to come in. Where do these people go in the healthcare system? Where do they go in the education system?
But this is what's happened, you see.
Where do they go in the housing system?
People are scapegoating tens of thousands of people. We have a country of millions, and they have underfunded everything over the last 14 years. And now they go, it's their fault. It isn't. It's their fault.
OK, thank you, Kate. Dawn in Devon, hi.
Hello, good morning.
What do you think? Are you pleased? Let's go back to the original question. Are you glad this bill has come in?
No, not really. I can't see how it can help, because it's got to be spent time after time to send all these people over to Rwanda by aircraft. And we've got people in our country sleeping on the streets. They have nowhere to sleep. Families are living with their parents, as my son has had to come home because he can't get a house. He can't afford a house, and he can't get a council house.
But isn't that the point?
Hang on, Dawn.
If you allow a lot more people to come into this country, where's the room for the homeless people? Where's the room for those other people that are already here, already struggling? We are very bloated as a small island already.
I think France could be made to build properties over there and keep them where they are. They shouldn't be allowed to come across on the boats. They know what's going to happen to them if they go on the boats. They know it's risky. And I'm not saying like Afghanistan, that was difficult because they're living under the Taliban.
Your phone is playing up. I think it sounds like a landline as well. Like you try to test the wire that connects the handset. Dave in Merseyside, hi. Hi, Dave.
Oh, hi. Hi, Jeremy.
What do you want to say?
I think they should go ahead with sending the migrants to Rwanda. I think there needs to be a deterrent to stop them coming, because, as has been said on your programme, it's like the golden egg to get to Great Britain, because they get put up in a hotel.
I don't know whether surely word has got around that it's really not the golden egg. Do you not think?
Well, I mean, they come into the country, get put up in a hotel, they get fed, they get given money, so they don't have to do anything to get that, and the taxpayer's paying that.
Jemma.
They get about 40 quid a week. They're in cramped hostels, really wanting to work, and many of them being left sort of to rot for between 2 to 4 years, doing nothing.
Well, where I live in Hoylake, they're in a 4-star hotel that was closed whilst the RNLI volunteers were in there. They packed the RNLI volunteers' bags up that were on a course and shipped them out to put the migrants in. So these people were not in cramped conditions.
Okay.
But I think the thing is, if you say these people are come from war-torn areas, where are all the women and children? It's all young males, and you can't send them back because the minute they get into the boats, they throw their passports or their identification into the water, so you don't know where to send them back to.
Dave, where we are in agreement...
There's no alternative. There's no alternative.
There is. Labour are putting up an alternative. Everybody keeps saying this, and the Shadow Home Secretary is talking ad infinitum about Labour's alternative policy.
What is their alternative?
Well, she was speaking about it on GMB this morning. She's saying they would be very similar to the current government's approach to how they've dealt with Albania, where you have seen numbers reduced dramatically.
So you go to Afghanistan, you talk to their government, which is, by the way, the Taliban, and you say, would you mind awfully not allowing anyone else to come over here?
No, I don't think that's the idea.
Because we get a lot of people from Afghanistan.
No, you have to do diplomacy with the rest of Europe. You also have to look at case by case. You have to speed up that logjam and work out who has the right to be here and who doesn't.
All right. So speeding up the processing is
and you have to spend that money on all of that.
The government said it was doing that, and a lot of people went missing when they speeded it up. Thank you, Dave. Harban's in Sheffield. Hi.
Hi there.
Are you glad they put this thing through?
No, not at all.
Tell us why not.
Not at all. I think the thing that's being missed here is like the horse has bolted, and instead of catching the horse, we're talking about repairing the gate instead of catching the horse. It just seems ridiculous. The people are in the country. The people are lost in the system. There's 180,000 lost in the system, I recall.
Well, it's less than that, but it's true that when the government started to try to push the processing quicker, they ended up with a lot of people going missing.
That just shows incompetence then, doesn't it? And it's not the first time we can say
Well, you can't put them in jail, Harbans. That's the thing, can you? So in the end, if someone wants to go missing, they probably can.
Yeah, true. But I think that will be a minority of cases. I think the majority, you should be able to encapsulate them, process them, keep them engaged. And if there is a flight risk, then, maybe you do have to detain the ones that are just coming on economic
Danny,
basis.
what about that? Just process quicker.
Yeah, if that's possible, and I think that's what they're trying to do, undoubtedly. But you still have a problem where there are asylum seekers that need help, that are genuine cases and leaving their country for a genuine reason. And there are people, like we just heard, majority of these are young males. There aren't as many women and children. That's fact. Those are the numbers. So what do you do with those? Where do you send these people? These people are getting from wherever they're coming from. They're getting through several other countries before they get to the UK. How do they get into those other countries? How do they get through those countries before they get here?
Well, I guess those countries, France particularly, don't want to keep them.
Well, and that's the point. They're quite happy to send them.
Hang on, another call. Sorry, Elizabeth in Surrey. Hi.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Sorry?
Go ahead, Elizabeth. All yours.
No, I would love to be sure that we could keep people away, in particular men, because I can't understand why they want to come here without any family with them or whatever. If you're actually in trouble in another country, you wouldn't leave your family behind. I don't believe so. And the other point I would like to make...
What's the solution, Elizabeth?
Sorry?
What's the solution?
I can't tell you the solution, but can I just say what I do feel very strongly about?
We only got 10 seconds. Go on.
Okay, so don't interrupt me. What I would like to say is these Afghans who are allowed to come here, they are not our... they didn't help us in Afghanistan. We helped them.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We've got to stop there. Thank you so much. Just because we have to go to our break at around this time every day. Same thing happens every day.